When serious illness strikes, the human instinct is immediate and desperate. We panic, we bargain, we pray for the pain to stop, and we plead for our physical bodies to heal. But in the bitter winter of 1691, an aging monk known as Brother Lawrence took a very different approach as his body began to fail. He was gravely ill, facing a severe physical decline that he knew he would not survive. He wrote a letter to a friend on January 22nd of that year, and in it he states that he is actively refusing to ask God for a medical cure. Instead, he simply asks for the strength to endure the sickness bravely. What follows is even more difficult to process. Lawrence describes his immense physical suffering as sweetness. He claims that suffering alongside his Creator is actually a paradise, a state of rest he can enjoy right now in the middle of his agony. You have to wonder if this extreme reaction is simply the delusion of a dying brain, or if we are looking at the proof of a highly engineered, stress-tested system of psychological and spiritual resilience. To understand how he survived this agony, we have to look at his specific method. As his condition worsens, Lawrence outlines his first rule of endurance. You cannot let your mind wander outward into the reality of your physical misery. He instructs his readers to build what he calls a spiritual temple. This is a deliberate, isolated internal sanctuary, a place where the mind maintains a continuous, unbreakable inward focus on God, completely sealed off from the failing body. Lawrence admits this mechanism is incredibly difficult to build, especially in the beginning. When your body is screaming in pain, maintaining this isolated focus forces you to rely entirely on what he calls pure faith. But if you can hold that focus, the physiological and spiritual results shift. The sharp bitterness of terminal pain is neutralized. Lawrence writes that the suffering itself transforms into ointment and comfort. The first step to enduring the unendurable, then, involves barricading the mind within an unbreachable internal fortress. The clock on Lawrence's life was running out quickly. We fast forward just 2 weeks to his final letter, dated February 6th. His condition is now terminal. Here he reveals his second rule, which requires completely recontextualizing the source of the pain. Lawrence argues that if a perfectly loving God orchestrates all things, then everything that comes from his hand must be good, whether that is intense sweetness or crushing agony. He viewed his suffering strictly as a divine tool, specifically designed to humble human pride. And he noted that the moment a dying person accepts their pain through this specific lens, their desperate groans actually turn into genuine laughter. But Lawrence immediately pairs this with a strict warning against chasing happy feelings. Relying on a sense of emotional joy to feel close to God is a massive spiritual liability when a crisis hits, because those feelings inevitably evaporate under extreme physical stress. Instead of chasing those fleeting highs, he points to the stark necessity of simple faith. This kind of faith operates like cold, hard logic. It functions completely independently of whether your body is comfortable or in agony. True resilience requires severing the connection between our spiritual foundation and our unpredictable emotional states. You have to rely solely on objective, disciplined belief. You can see the result of that disciplined belief at the very end of this February 6th letter. Despite the severe deterioration of his body, Lawrence signs off with a striking cheerfulness, telling his friend that he eagerly expects to see his Creator in a few days. He was remarkably accurate. Merely 2 days after sending that very cheerful letter, his physical body entirely collapsed. Within 1 week of finally taking to his bed, Brother Lawrence was dead. His final letters serve as a battlefield manual, written and successfully executed in real time during terminal organ failure. The implication for us today is sharp. We spend vast amounts of our energy trying to engineer a pain-free, comfortable existence, but that pursuit will never actually result in true peace. By doing the disciplined work of continuous presence long before tragedy strikes, we can construct an internal reality strong enough to survive the total collapse of our physical.
For more spiritual resources, visit lokaken.ai.